Okay, so in the workshop today, we have a 2019 VW Golf Mk7.5. Your average sort of family car, family hatchback, and I love these vehicles. I actually had a Mk7 GTD, and I would say it's probably the best car I've had. Not particularly noisy, but the customer has asked whether I can reduce noise levels in the cab, which I know I can definitely do. So the way we're going to do that, we're going to focus on the key main areas of the vehicle where a lot of noise is created. So the first one, under the bonnet, we're going to use a deadening material, we're going to use an open cell foam, and we're going to try and reduce the low and high frequency sounds, and as a result, reduce the decibels that are coming from that engine note. Then we're going to focus on the wheel arches as well. Now we're going to take off the arch liners and do the back of the arch liners themselves. And then we are going to go into the interior. Now inside, this isn't a regular fitting. What we're going to do is we're going to take the seats out, we're going to take all the carpets out, we're going to try and get under the center console as well, and we're going to layer this car up with deadening first of all with the NK mat, and then we're going to use the sound barrier that's going to sit over the top. All this trim will go back. You'll never know that anything's been put in, but we are doing a comprehensive job here. So footwells, under the seats, under the rear seat, doors will get done because they're a bit tinny as well. We're also going to focus on the boot as well. So in the boot, you've got quite a lot of bare metal down the bottom there. So we'll do NK mat again, 15mm flat foam to absorb those airborne sounds. Then we're going to tackle the rear wheel arches from inside because you can get good access to those from inside the vehicle. And then that'll be it. Put everything back. You'll never know we've been here and you'll have a much quieter car. Now, the "It Sounds Like a Golf" is a classic advert, if you remember that, and it just links to when you close the doors, it just sounds solid. Now, the way they achieve that is they have got some sound deadening in the doors. They've also got really good seals around the outside. Our aim, take the door cards off, deaden this, because it's still tinny, so we'll deaden that, put a layer of open cell foam behind as well, and it really will sound like a luxury Golf after that. So what are we up against then? We've done a road test in this car. 72, 73 decibels was the sound test. Now that's really quite good, considering a Range Rover Autobiography is only about 67 decibels. 73 or 72 is a really good starting point. Makes it quite tricky for me doing the work. I'm going to put it out there. 5 decibel reduction, I think, is achievable here using the right materials, and that'll take us down to what we're saying 67, 66, 67. I'd be really pleased with, and that would be quieter than that Range Rover that I just mentioned. So let's see how we get on. Let's get cracking with our family hatchback. So I should have said this service that we're doing today is not our standard sort of fitting. This is a 3-day bespoke fitting, and this focuses on completely emptying the car and making the best use of all the materials we've got. 3 days of work, but yeah, should see a massive difference. First things first, just going to use a bit of the NK panel wipe here, just to clean the surface, make sure we're going to get the best adhesion possible onto our soundproofing materials. Okay, so deadening goes on first. That goes to the outer skin of the bonnet. Then we need to roll that flat, make sure that they are not going to come off and go anywhere. And then next layer is 15mm flat foam over the top, absorbing all those airborne sounds. Okay, so that's the underbonnet done. We've got deadening on first, then we've got 15mm flat foam. Now, question that we will get asked by people is, why are you putting an open foam in an engine bay? Is it not going to get covered in rubbish? The answer is no, because you've got the manufacturer's cover that goes over the top. Open cell foam with no cover is the ultimate soundproofing, because the sound waves are coming up, hitting it and getting absorbed. So this is going to be the perfect solution in this engine bay. We do normally put a Vibrasorb material, which has a foil face on it over the top. That has a deadening layer and a soundproofing layer in one. But with these bespoke fittings, we go just that little bit further and we put our own deadening and then an open cell foam over top. And yeah, there's the results. undoing the electrics in the doors and for the seats, we're going to first of all disconnect the battery just so that we're safe. So negative terminal, 10mm socket, loosen that off, and then just move that out the way. So it's not going to touch anything. And there we are. So now the car is dead and we're ready to work on it. Okay, so taking the door cards off. This is so simple. There's 2 screws that you need to undo, one behind the handle and one just in the bottom section there that you can see me fiddling with. And then it's held on with a load of clips. Wiggle those loose and then a few electrical connections on the back, and that should come off in your hands. And then that's ready for soundproofing the outer door skin and also the back of the door card as well. Access to the outer skin of the door is through the access panel, which I'm just taking off now. Inside the door, as you can see, lots of bare metal here, but it's not actually worth doing much of this because it's the inner skin of the door. So we'll probably do the back of the door, maybe put a couple of pads of deadening on there, but it's mainly this second skin you want to get at. Now there's the factory stuff, so that's just a spray on sort of sound deadening, but as you can hear, it's tinny as anything, so we'll get right in there, right in there, right in the door, you can see. So we'll get all that bare metal, get that all sound deadened, and then we'll put this whole thing back together. So that's 3 Mk7.5 pads, deadening pads, added to the outer skin of the door. Just need to put the cover back on, and then we're just going to soundproof the inner door skin as well, just as a good bit of metal there that we can just add some random pads to, just to take out some more structural sounds and vibrations. Bit of a tap test for you now. So this is something that you'll see every person who's doing soundproofing will do this. There's not many ways of showing progress on a build without doing a tap test at this stage, because you can't obviously move the car out. So here is the door that's not treated. So I'm just going to tap this. Hopefully that shows it. Nice and tinny there, with that factory soundproofing underneath, which I showed you before. And then this is the door that's been treated. Okay, so obviously you can still hear sound. You're never going to get rid of that. But what it's doing here is it's taking away that vibration. So you imagine when you're driving along, the whole thing is vibrating away. And the idea of these pads, these Mk7.5 pads, is that it just deadens that sound. It stops the vibrations, which stops the excess noise getting into the cabin. And yeah, it's a blocker of sound and blocker of the vibration and the structural sound. So first step, this door's done. Do the other door. Do these back doors. Do the full floor pan. And then that will be a dead sound. Now, moving on to day 2, we strip the seats out, which is just 4 simple bolts, which we can see there. There are 2 electrical connectors at the bottom of the seats. Just make sure your battery's disconnected. Unplug those, lift the seats out, and then you can gain access to the floor, where we first of all deadened it with sound deadening material, Mk7.5. And then over the top, we've put our sound barrier material as well, which is an open cell foam with 2 damping sheets. Under the rear seat, we've done it slightly differently. We've put a 15mm flat foam there, just because it molds better to the seat when you put the rear seat back in. Did the same in the boot, so we deadened the boot floor and the rear wheel arches from the inside, and then we've also got a layer of sound barrier that goes under the boot floor as well, as you can see. So that's it then. The VW Golf Mark 7.5 is done. We got it down from 73 decibels to 65, I think it was in the end. So massive difference. And the customer's going to be really pleased with that. So another car and job well done. And as you can see, all the interior's gone back exactly how it should be. You'd never know that we've been in there, apart from the noise levels have been reduced massively. Now, if you want to know more, head to our website to find out more about what we can offer for your vehicle.